Pashas Vayigash, Tavshin Pei Vav. Let's go in the psukim. I'm not going to go really much on the inside the leshonis of the psukim. Those who receive the vote, you're going to see the question. You can have one pasuk without 10 questions, but that's not going to be the subject of the share today. Here we go. Very interestingly, we see in the story here that Yehuda comes, just to tell you by heart, Yehuda is going to come and he's going to try to fight Yosef. And he's going to be very belligerent. He's going to threaten to destroy Mitzrayim, to kill everyone there. But really, I don't understand. In Parshas Miketz, when you were arrested for 3 days by Yosef, you didn't make a fuss. You just went with it. When then they got out and he took back Shimon by himself, Shimon made a fuss. And he yelled, all the Giborim of Yosef fell, they lost their teeth. Menashe came, punched him. And Shimon fell to the ground. And he said, this is not a human power. This is a power from our house, the house of our father. So on two angles, I don't understand Yehuda's attitude in the beginning of this parsha. You guys had Shimon arrested. You saw him being arrested. You didn't fight. You didn't threaten. You didn't do nothing. You said, Aval Hashem imanachnu. We are responsible for Mechiras Yosef. So why here, Yehuda, you're all up in arms, and not only you're fighting Yosef, you want to kill him, you want to kill Pharaoh, but you want to kill all Mitzrayim also. What have they done, these people? I mean, can you just kill people freely? You think blood is free because you're angry at Yosef? What are you trying to do? So why before you were okay, but now you're no longer okay? Now you really want it. You really want the fight. Your attitude, Yehuda, makes no sense. Now I'm going to go a bit more in the psukim and I just ask you a general question. Yehuda comes and tells Yosef, Ki avdecha ara besana. Please understand, because now I'm responsible for him. I'm sorry. When Yidden used to go up to Nazis to save the children, did they have any mercy? No. They had no mercy. So what makes Yehuda think that, given the attitude of Yosef towards them, and knowing that Binyamin never stole the Gavia, so what makes him think that talking for saying nothing will help? He's not a Ben Israel. He's not a Rahman. He's not a Ben Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. So what do you expect from him? And he goes at length like it. You know, I could have gone to the next pasuk. Me'im avi lemor. He's going to say, from my father saying, Im loi avienu elecha, if I don't bring him back to you, vechatasi leavi kol hayamim. I will be choite in this world and in next world. So Yehuda offers after that to sit instead, because he told Yosef, look, you're Melech, you need guards strong, in order to defend you, protect you, and etc. I'm much stronger than Binyamin. Why do you stubborn up and you want to keep Binyamin? You should take me instead. Says Yehuda. You looked at him as a piece of flesh. You are attracted by him. You're one of these mitzrim like Pharaoh, and you want to do what you want to do. I'll kill you. You won't escape my hands. I will kill you with my hands. Now Yehuda started threatening directly Yosef. Yosef started getting worried. Why? Because he knew the signs. The signs were the hair that was on Yehuda's chest. Yehuda was wearing 5 tunics, and he pierced them all and stood out, and blood was coming out of the eyes of Yehuda. When Yehuda was going to go wild, this is what used to happen. And Yosef said, Yehuda is about to kill now. I better stop. So he made a sign. First, he made a sign to Menashe. Menashe hit the ground, and he started waving like an ocean. The whole building was shaking. Then this gave them a pulse already. How does he have the strength to do that? They said, it can be. This is only our family can act like this. And now they lost a bit track. Yosef gave a punch on his thrones made of marble, turned it into dust. Now Yehuda got scared. He says he have that strength. It's not possible to own that strength. Only you're a tzaddik. And he has my strength. That's the first time Yehuda sees Yosef as an equal in terms of power. Yehuda was at loss. He didn't know what to do anymore. He realized that Yosef, and therefore he keeps on going after that, and he says, Ki eiche le'elavi. What am I supposed to do? You want to avoid war? Fine. But how can I go back to Eretz Canaan to my father, see his face, and I don't have Binyamin with him? Maybe I'm going to cause his death. Absolutely not. No matter what it is, what it takes, I am in the fight. Yosef realized that Yehuda knew that he was taking a chance, because he saw the power of Yosef equals to his. Despite that, in order to prevent his father from again a tsar, and in order not to let Binyamin behind, he put his life at stake. When Yosef saw that, he said, here are the signs that they're making tshuva on Mechiras Yosef, and therefore Yosef revealed himself. So now, let's go down a little bit. I gave you the story according to the Midrashim, but there are a lot of questions here, and it's about time that we get down below. Just want to mention one midrash, starting with the midrash Rabbah says, midrash Tanchuma, sorry, midrash Tanchuma Daratam this parsha. The midrash Tanchuma says when they started fighting together, Yehuda and Yosef, the Malach Ashares, came down. Okay, they would say, let's go down and see the shoyer and the lion, the bull and the lion fight together. That's how they think. You want to see the fight? He said, in nature, the bull is scared of a lion, but here he stands his ground. What really is supposed to happen? Why is they so interested, the Malachim, to look at the fight of Yehuda and Yosef? And the side in here, and this is how I'm starting the shir, because at the moment, the shur and the aryeh are getting together. When we have this koyach together, shur and aryeh equals 722. Nachash ve'nachash. Then the nachash has no more koyach. Then the choshech is done. And therefore, that's what the Malach Asharis wanted to see, that by them bonding together, at this point, the Nachash will go down. That's why if you look, like the Megala Amukah says, Vayigash Elav Yehuda, you have the Sefer Teves. I'm just going quick on this because I just added it as an introduction. You have is Hasher, Vayigash Elav Yehuda. Play with the words. You have Hasher. After that, he says, Bi Adoni Yedaberna Avdecha. Then you have Aryeh. Just to show you that the whatever a midrash says, it's always hinted in the passage. But now we have a direction. They want to go out and fight the Nachash. What's happening? What's behind it? I'm starting this year. The Magid Mesharim, the Malach they used to learn with the Beis Yosef, brings from the Gemara in Baba Kama that the bones of Yehuda, during all those years that they were in the Midbar, they were rolling in their Aram. You know that they took the brothers out of Mitzrayim, right? They didn't take only Yosef, they took all the brothers back out to bury them in Eretz Canaan. So they were not resting. That's why the Gemara says when Megulgalim means they were turning around all the time. They were not resting. Yehuda was not resting all that time. And what's the reason? The reason being that he promised. I'll show you in the pasuk so you understand. This is fundamental for the shir. This is what he promised Yehuda to Yaakov. If I don't bring him back to you, והצגתיו לפניך, and I make him stand before you, וחטאתי לך כל הימים, and I will sin before you all the time. And realize that the pasuk that Yaakov told him is Vekel Shaka iten lachem rachmim. So the Baruch Hu should give you the chut shel chesed, rachmim. Lifnei ha'ish, before that person, veshilach lachem, and he will send you es achichem acher, your other brother, ve'es Binyamin. This pasuk came after this pasuk. So you see that Yaakov somehow understood that Yehuda will bring him Yosef. V'shilach lachem es achichem acher, the other brother, ve'es Binyamin, and Binyamin. Yehuda found Yosef, and he presented him to Yaakov. So why would the nidui? Because he took a ban upon himself on in this world and next world if he doesn't accomplish his words. What did Yehuda do? Did he bring back Yosef to Eretz Canaan to present him to his father? No. But when Yaakov came down, Yosef went to meet him. So he did vehitzaktiv lefanecha. This part he did. But this part, im lo yahavioisi lecha, he didn't do. And that's what the Magid Mesharim explains. In the Gemara, that the words in the nidui are very, very, very stringent. Meaning, you have to be very careful of the lashonos of a nidui. Because if you don't accomplish everything, the nidui, even though we found Yosef, so that should be the ultimate reason. No. The words that came out of your mouth, if they're not exactly accomplished, then the person is in a cheret. And Yehuda, all those years, he was the in cheret. The question is here. So when Yaakov blessed him, instead of giving him a huge blessing to Yehuda and so forth, Yaakov Avinu, you're a big Talmid Chacham. You're the Gadol Adoyer. Be mevatel the nidui. Understand that it was not completely accomplished. So be mevatel the nidui. Moshe Rabbeinu, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to give a bracha to Yehuda, but Yehuda needs more than a bracha. You're going to daven for Yehuda because you heard the bones. At that time, he's going to daven for Yehuda, but not before. But instead of davening, be mevatel the cherem. Why should he be so long in cherem? I want to go in a little bit inside the pasuk in order to show the mistake of Yehuda in his language and the reason things are going to go the wrong way for him until he meets with Yosef. I mean, until Yosef is revealed, is revealing himself. Let's go check a little bit in the pasuk here. You're going to see what comes out, and that's going to make a lot of sense. A lot of sense. So the Magid Mesharim told us he did not accomplish this part, okay? Okay, so let's check what's in this part. This equal to 568. When you say Shimon Esrei Hakel, Hagodai, Hagibar, Vehanoira. I didn't have to bring this, but I just want to teach something through it, because all the person that are learning it for Chaim, you're going to learn something right here. This is Keneged, the 4 feet of the Merkava. Okay? So we say to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Keneged the Merkava that has 4 legs, we give 4 praise to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and therefore it equals the 4 names that are the 4 feet of the Merkava. Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, David. Just to show you that that's why it's in the Kavanas like this in but he accomplished that part. What is that part? This equals to 710. It equals to Mashiach ben Yosef with the shame of the Malchus, Yud, Hey, Yud, Hey, Vav, Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey. Those who know, this is the Acheraim of the Malchus, because the Malchus will go out with Mashiach ben Yosef, and there's going to be a war. So it's going to be the Nekama. He will avenge the Bnei Israel. So he promised, and he kept his promise. That part he kept. Now Yosef is revealed. He's here. He's the father of the Mashiach ben Yosef. He connected himself with the Malchus, we will see. And now we know, we assured that prior to Mashiach ben David, the Mashiach ben Yosef will come out and decimate Esau. Very good. So now, in that case, we see that Yehuda took upon himself 2 things. One is Mashiach ben Yosef. The second one is the Merkava. That's a big, you attach a cherem or a neder on the Merkava. I don't want to know what these people do and what's going to happen to them. It's not going to be good news, and it was not good news for Yehuda. But let's think a second. Why would Yehuda do such a thing? Yehuda, you the greater of all your brothers. You're going to be Melech Israel, meaning that you would have in communion all the strength of the 12 Shvatim. We're going to see that they're all going to give their strength to Yehuda. So Yehuda can rule over all of them, because otherwise, this one is like this one is like this, 12, like the Chassam Sofer says in the Tshuva and Orachaim, there are 12 different sinoiros had to go up to Shamayim. That's why we have different Sifrei Torahs between Ashkenazim and Sfarim and Teimanim. two different, and also not only in lines sometimes, but also in writing. So it's a different nusach. You have Lubavitch that also have a certain nusach on a few words that change. Betzua Daka or Chul Shofra, they write a hey at the end instead of an aleph that we write in Asif Torahs. So they're so the Chassam Sofer says each one had a different sinner to go up. And it's all part of the Torah. That's why Moshe Rabbeinu wrote 13 Sifrei Torahs. 12 he gave to the Shvatim, each one according to his tziner. It's a different nosach. And the 13th that encompass all the other 12 is in the Aron HaKodesh. And that's the same logic when a king has to understand and be able to relate to all his people, and therefore they have to give him the strength. So Yaakov is being misled a second time by Yehuda. To the point that he's going to say, I like to put it in order. V'kershakai, we saw the pasuk before. Yiten lachem rachmim lifnei ha'ish. That's where the Rashi says in here, Ruach HaKodesh nizrekaboy. It's very hard. I mean, what he means. Even if he had Ruach HaKodesh, but to say that Yehuda is responsible for finding Yosef, when I don't understand, and he was not happy, so why Ruach HaKodesh? He couldn't have Ruach HaKodesh to know that Yosef was alive, but he has Ruach HaKodesh to know. We have to get into the, the Kel Shaka, the side of Kel Shaka already. Equals 345 equals Rachel Imein equals Moshe. But when we do the yichud of Kel Shakai, we bring the Malchus up like in Mincha and Shabbos, all the way up to the Keser, so she can give Shefa from her own. And Yaakov Avinu was doing something here. He was not confirming what Yehuda said. He was not misled. We're going to see what he did. We have Yiten lachem rachmi. Equals 8, I think it's 68. 848, sorry. 848. I mean, for the joke, it's twice Mashiach ben David, but I'm not going down that path. Yaakov Avinu, and this is a continuation of the shir on Monday night. You're going to understand. If you take the name Ab Sag Ma Ben, for those who are not familiar with his name, these are the Shemes of the Chochmah. Here they are. The four of them. Yud Ke Vav Ke has 4 ways to write it in full. Yud, Hey, and all of these. So one is 72, one is 63, one is 45, and the other one is 52. And when you add them all together, equals 232. So this is 232. Now we're going to go into like the kavanas we have on the regalim. the shemes of the Bina, Kasa, Kamag, Kana. So this equals 232, this equals 616. 232 plus 616 equals 840. What is this Kasa thing? I'm going to show you also, so you're familiar with it. These are all the names of the Bina. So before it was the name, the Yud Ke Vav Ke in the Chachma, now it's a Keye in all this feeling. It's just the first one is repeated because there are 4 here, and they go inside the 4. Okay? So that's the reason. So now, Yiten lachem rachamim, he sent them the shemes of the chachma and the bin. When you are in this world, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Shabbos. This is our world. Chesed to Malchus. But once you're above, you control, you can change everything you want down below. So Yaakov Avinu wanted to make a miracle here. Because you can be Mamshich Yeshua, you can bring down a Yeshua if you know how to connect yourself to Chachma and Bina. And it's not difficult. I explained it in a shir. Anytime you need oil for yourself, you don't need the hiji. You can do it yourself. It's very simple. It's not difficult. And you get out of your... And that's exactly what Yaakov Avinu did. He attached them to the Chachma and Bina, and a miracle happened. Just for the little story, do you know what this equals to? Abraham Avinu, Yitzchak Avinu, Yaakov Avinu. The schus of the 3 Avos Akdoshim together. So now you understand the importance of attaching yourself to the Chachma and the Bina, because at this point you're getting the schus of the 3 of us. That's for the... Then Yaakov tell them, where is the passage? Veshilach. There's a lot more sodas in here, but let's just, with what we have, it's enough. Veshilach equals 344. What do you mean he will send? And he will send. What are you sending? Dinah, daughter of Leah and Rachel. You need the power of Dinah. When the Yesod is inside the Ola, the Ervas Haaretz in Mitzrayim, you can't see him. The reason you didn't find Yosef is exposed, is in front of you. But you cannot see him because the Ola is covering him. But once you send Dinah, that is tough dinim, and she is the twin of Yosef, then Yosef will be exposed. They are the only 2 that had 2 mothers. I explained this in previous shirim from Yonasan ben Uziel, the biggest Talmud of Hillel HaZaken, that Dinah was conceived by Rachel. Yosef was conceived by Leah. And Hashem made a miracle, and they were exchanged. despite the fact that they were not born at the same time, only many years difference. That's the miracle that the tefillah of Leah did for Rachel Imenu. So who gave birth to Rachel? Leah. But who conceived her? Rachel. Yosef, who conceived him? Leah. Who gave birth to him? Rachel. They both have two mothers. And the koyach of Dinah, that's why Dinah and Yosef both had episodes about the Yesod in Shechem itself. And the proof to this that it's not just, what did he say in the pasuk, Yaakov Avinu, if you're so precise already? Where is my pasuk? Here it is. You say Binyamin by name. Say Yosef by name. What do you mean, achichtem acher? Ha-acher. The other one. No. Yaakov Avinu is telling them why they can't see him. Equals 288. Equals Rapach. The 288 nitzoitzos that broke down and they were taken by the Sitra Achra and the Ola, more precisely, and they are the one covering Yosef. So he was giving them a roadmap how to find Yosef, with which koyach, with everything. I could go way deeper on this pasuk to show you where Yaakov Avinu was standing, but there is no point. We're going to stay on course for, because there's a much bigger side in all this. Now we're getting to the point we're going to speak a little bit about this confrontation about Yehuda. Now that we have all this surrounding, we'll understand a lot better the confrontation between Yehuda and Yosef. Yehuda is an enigma. He's willing, so now we saw that he's willing to give his life in order to save Binyamin after he realized the power of Yosef. If you see the importance of a shevet, that it's worth giving your life for it, because we cannot have Klal Yisrael minus a shevet, why don't you do so for your brother Yosef? And how come the Shekhinah joined you? Because you were 9. Reuben was not there. So you were 9. So you put the Shekhinah down together with you, and then you put a cherem. Then you signed the din on Yosef. Look how much pain this created. Yaakov Avinu, his continuation, his worry about the Der Achraim, will they have a Geula without Yesod? Not going to happen. Who's going to take down Esau? Yitzchak Avinu knows the truth, and he's not allowed to console his son. And even had he known, Yaakov, that Yosef was alive, but the worry that he was alive in a place like Mitzrayim, there was sometime it's better that he's dead than because if he's choite, then he loses this world and next world. If he's dead, he's lost this world, but he gets next world. But above all, I have a problem with Yaakov Avinu. Yaakov Avinu, when we talk about Anshe Shem, they did a terrible thing to Dina, your daughter. Ooh, you going after Shimon and Levi. They don't get a bracha. You say, Beseidam al tavoi nafshi. I don't want to mingle with them. What a slap. But about Mechiras Yosef, not a word. Now we're talking about Yidden. We're talking a big avla, begoinev ishum charoi, someone who steals a person, a Yid, and sells him, is chayav misa. But no, Yaakov Avinu, you're fine with that. Not even mentioning this. What's going on? I mentioned this in the Shir on Shabbos, but sorry for those who were there. It's going to be a chazara, but the people have to hear the point. So the level of questions stops because nobody understands this enigma of the Mechiras Yosef. I'm going to explain it in detail. The pasuk says, "Vegoinev ish umecharod." Why do you have to first steal the person and then sell him in order to be chayav? So if you didn't steal him, you're not chayav. So now I'm going to take halacha, the halacha ones. When you have an object, taking the object from the reshus of the owners and taking it with you, that's a gneva because you took it out. That's why halacha is that karka enan nigzeres. You cannot steal a karka because the karka is not immovable, and you cannot take it out from the rishus of the bailing. Even if you're going to use it, you're still being a thief. But the karka always remains with its owners. That said, a person also, if you don't steal him, meaning you steal him from his own reshus, that he used to be controlling and doing what he wanted at will, now he cannot do it any longer, and then you sell him, and again, he's bound, it's against his will. At that point, that's the Isur of Goined Isham Charoi and Echayev Misa. Yosef, how old was he in the board? He was 17. Now we saw earlier in the year he had the same koyach of Yehuda. Yehuda, when he was 11, he was jumping walls. Yosef, if he wanted, he could have bounced off the boyer. But he said, if this happens to me, it means HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants me there. We saw Menashe, his son, who was a kid. He punched Shimon, knocked him up. You think Yosef could have not knocked out the Ishmaelim, the businessmen, the few circling that he had on the thing? There were not a whole lot of people. When Yehuda yelled, Pharaoh sent 600 Giborim of Mitzrayim. They all fell to the ground and lost their teeth. Yosef could have yelled. They would have fell to the ground with it, and he'd go back to his father. Even more. When Yehuda yelled, and Chushim ben Dan, the nephew of Yehuda, heard him in Eretz Canaan. Before Yehuda yelled the second time, Chushim was already standing next to him. How did he travel from Eretz Canaan in an instant to Eretz Mitzrayim? Obviously, he was saying the shame of Kfitzas Aderet. Yosef, you walking with the Ishmaelim going down. Say the Shem, go back home. In other words, it was impossible to steal Yosef from his own Reshus. He was controlling his destiny still. He saw signs that Hashem wanted him to go through that pain. And willingly, which is a much harder nisayon. If someone cannot, is overpowered, and and he's forced to do something, okay, I can do nothing. It's hard already, but when someone has the power to free himself and doesn't free himself, that's the nisayon. That's the huge nisayon of Yosef. Now you understand why the schus of Yosef is going to remain with the Bnei Yisrael through all the galuyos. It was huge what he did. And on the other hand, you understand that what we call mechiras Yosef was never a mechir. Yeah, they told the Ishmaelim take him. They knew their brothers could free himself in an instant. They never expected him to go all the way down to Mitzrayim. For them, it was a shock. He was able to, but Yosef, with his tzidkus, decided to go along and to take upon himself the nisayon. It's a big chiddush. I couldn't find in the Mefarshim, someone who learned like this until I came up to the Shla Kadosh in Torah. He learns not exactly like this, but along those lines. So it's not just me that when Yosef saw his brothers and he revealed himself, he told them, don't be sad. Vayishlacheni Eloikim lifnechem. I'm going to show you the pasuk, because you will understand what Yosef did. I don't know what he did. I think it's, no. There it is. He told them, Ve'ata loi atem shalachtem oisi heina. Look at the lashon of the pasuk. And now, it's not you that sent me here. As a shlichus. No. He doesn't say mechartem. He says shalachtem. Just to show that al pshat, you can be medagdek in the words. Ki ha'eloikim. The only reason I came down here because I felt that this was the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That was the Ritzoin Hashem, and I have a mission to accomplish here. Vayishlacheni Eloikim lifnechem, and not today I know what my mission is. Why do I have to go? I had to go before you. Yosef will always precede his brothers. That's why Mashiach ben Yosef will come before the Asara Shvatim will be revealed. Before Mashiach ben David, he always the precursor, always ahead of the Bnei Israel. He takes the lead. That's why Shaul was the first melech who's from Binyamin, from the Bnei Rachel, was the first melech in Israel. If one of them, Yosef or Binyamin, doesn't precede the Bnei Israel, they cannot succeed. So the Malchus based David was able to grow on the Malchus Bnei Rachel. It's a klal. Always the Yesod ahead. Why did Yosef do that? He told them, Lasum lachem she'eris ba'aret. Interesting lashon, right? Lasum lachem she'eris ba'aret. So you have a remainder. You have something left in here. The Pleitas Yisrael, those who are going to be saved, are called She'eris Yisrael, the leftover. Because all the Reshaim will die. And only the Tzaddikim, the people, when I say Tzaddikim, it's people with manners, people with that have the definition. They may not be all clean, but they have the fabric. That's what I should have said. That's the right word. They have the fabric of a Ben Israel. What did Yosef do in order to prepare that? Yosef said it in the pasuk. The Torah says it in the pasuk, "Vayitoim hakesef," and the money ended, meaning they had no more money. Me'eretz Mitzrayim u'me'eretz Canaan. After the first year of famine, they spent all their money to purchase food. At the end of the year, they had none. What did Yosef do? Vayiken Yosef. And Yosef purchased Eskol Admas Mitzrayim, the totality of the land of Mitzrayim. What is Yosef doing? What's his intention? Because he sees very clear in his mission. He has no doubt. Pharaoh didn't know what to do. So when they came the second year, at the start of the second year, to complain to Pharaoh that we have no more money, what are we supposed to do? He says, go to Yosef, whatever he's going to tell you to do, you will do. Let's analyze the intention of Yosef. Vayitoim HaKesef equals 621. Equals Klal Yisrael. Yosef had a big problem. He saw himself, what is Ervas Haaretz? What is the Klippa of Mitzrayim? Now, he is Yosef. He was able to withstand that. But not even his brothers are going to be able to. As we're going to see, it's getting late, but I have to get there to show you that only Yosef, and there's only one of Yosef. Now he's thinking they're going to come here in Galus Mitzrayim. How will they be saved? So what's the problem? The problem is that when you eat the food of a country, you're using the shefa of the sar of that country. When we eat in America, we're eating the food, even though we buy it, we're eating the food through the sar of Esau. And Yosef said, absolutely not. This cannot happen, because if they have this proximity already, they're going to fall off the cliff. They're not going to be able to withstand it. So what did Yosef do? He purchased, so Eretz Mitzrayim is no longer under the hands of the Sar of Mitzrayim. Belongs to Yosef. It's another story why Pharaoh was never the ruler. It's Yosef the ruler of the whole Mitzrayim. So Yosef purchased it in order to alleviate the problem of the Bnei Israel. It's going to be difficult for them, but not that difficult anymore. And what's this lashon? He should have said Eretz Mitzrayim, right? What's this lashon? Admas Mitzrayim. Or he should have said in plural, Admois Mitzrayim. If you take it now, the lands, because the lands of individuals, there was a lot of them. This equals to 826. It equals to Mechiras Yosef. Yosef understood the whole purpose of him coming down here. It's because he's the only one that can prepare the land to host his brothers and to host their descendants afterward, to making sure that there was going to be Yetzias Mitzrayim. This equals Pharaoh Melech Mitzrayim. I really forget the equal and stuff. Pharaoh Melech Mitzrayim. Why? Because Pharaoh is a big mechashev. And he had to tame him so he's not able to mess around with the Bnei Israel and to tempt them to follow his side. That's the big Inyan. And the proof of this is, if we take the She'eris Yisrael, this equals to 911. Interesting, huh? This 911 number. You want to know what it equals? 911. Satan, the male. Amalach Amaves, the female. That's 911. So Yosef here, he has a mission. And he told them that was the purpose. That's why lo atem shelachtem oisiheino. It's not you. It's HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because The Gzera of Bris Bein Abesarim is going to happen, and you cannot live here for one day. Not you, and obviously not your descendants. So I had to come here and to prepare, and this is the avodah that I have done. So you will eat from the hand of a Jew and not from the hand of a goy. And that's a big Indian. You see all the parts the psukim, Yosef, who Amashbir, who Ashalit, who he hints exactly to this point. That's what they hinted to Yaakov Avinu not to be scared to go down to Mitzrayim. But Yaakov doesn't believe them. So when they came and they told him that Yosef, Oid Yosef Chai, it was too much for him. He couldn't believe it. It's not shaykh that his son Yosef by himself, if he was with his father Tiferet Yesod, yes, they can fight this fight and he can win. But he was all alone. The others could not understand that part. But Yaakov understood because Yosef is the Yesod. And that's why that's why in the words Oid Yosef ben Ichai. What do you mean Oid Yosef ben Ichai? Look what Yaakov is saying. Equals 80 equals Yesod. That's what he cared in. Yosef didn't fall into it. Yosef is still the Yesod. And the Yesod and the Tiferes, for sure there's a Geula to the Bnei Israel. And that was the joy of Yaakov Avinu. This is where you take Od Yosef Chai, the Yesod is called Chai also. But if you take Od Yosef Chai equals 254. Equals, I'm sorry, today I give you a lot of, but everything is in remez in this. Oir Kitoy. Vaya Elohim Esair Kitoy. Oir Kitoy, it's Yosef. It's still shining the oir. Where is he going to keep shining that oir Kitoy? Who are we going to say Kitoy afterward about? Moshe. And Moshe, he's a goel. He's the one who's going to free them from Mitzrayim. He's the one who's going to free us from Shibud Malchuyos. It stands. And that's not what he said only. V'chihu Moshe. What are you telling them? I mean, he only needs to know that he's alive. No. Look what they're going to tell him. Equals 412. They're describing him exactly who he is to give him such a nachas. Noitzer chesed. He's attached to the Mazal Ilah of the Bnei Israel. Look at this word Moshe. Why is he Moshe? they chose the word, the pasuk. So it's not Pharaoh that's Moshel, it's Yosef that Moshel. This equals 370. Equals Aleph Lamed Aleph Lamed. The 370 lights that come from the Keser, from Ari Chanpin, Kel. There's 13 attributes of Rachmim on the right side and 13 attributes, and the first one being Kel, right at the base here, 1 and 2. And these are all the lights, the biggest lights that shine upon Yosef. Says he is at a level of tzidkos that it's unseen. Okay, that's great. But what has he achieved? Oh, that's why they say here, they added a word. Bechol Eretz Mitzrayim. Because if you had said, Vechiu Moishel be'Eretz Mitzrayim, would have changed the sense of the pasuk? No. Bechol is 52. You have here, it's Zum the Klipa, the male and the female of the Klipa. He controls them. They're under his feet. And that where Yaakov, it's not shaykh that this boy left my chinuch when he was 17 years old. And now he's 39 years old. And he rised to this level. It's impossible. Yaakov couldn't swallow that. I want to finish on one thing here. So right away, Yaakov says to Yehuda, get up, you go ahead of us. Ves Yehuda Shalach. Shalach is 338, Yaakov Yosef. You made the pirud, you reconnect Eres and Yesod, Yaakov and Yosef. But now the pasuk makes no sense. Lefanav ves Yehuda Shalach lefanav el Yosef. Okay, fine. And then he says, lehoiros lefanav goishna. Lefanav, one. Lefanav. If you had it, you said it once, I would have translated the pasuk like I've started. Ves Yehuda shalach lefanav. He told him, go ahead and prepare. But what do you want to go here, El Yosef? Rashi said he told him to go, he's going to build the yeshiva. So take lefanav El Yosef out of the pasuk. It has no meaning. Unless you touch, Shalach means Yaakov Yosef. So he has two missions. First mission is to reconnect Yaakov, the Tiferes, and the Yesod. Second mission is to, we're going to explain what it means, build a yeshiva there. What do you want to do, Yaakov Avinu? So what's the first mission? And what this repetition then, it becomes a harder question. What's the repetition of Lefanav El Yosef? Yosef was able to achieve great work, but it's the Yesod, he's limited. He has now under his shoe the Nachash. But once he's going to be Niftar, it's not going to remain that way. But with the schus of Yaakov, they can catch him because they knew he'll be Mekatreg in Yetzias Mitzrayim. And that's what he told him to prepare. Sorry, I wrote it already. This equals 363. Equals Hanachash. The one who's gonna stop the Kitru. Elu evdei avodah zara ve'elu evdei avodah zara. What difference there's between the Jews and the Mitzrim? None. So please Hashem, don't kill my people. Don't kill the Mitzrim, the Nachash is gonna say. The one who stopped the Kitru. When Yaakov brought himself and reattaches himself with Yosef, together, they made it happen. In other words, the whole understanding Yetzias Mitzrayim, you have to go backward to Yaakov and Yosef because it didn't happen in a vacuum. I'm going to go quick and just finish on this. And that's why it says the second time, lehoiros lefanav. This is also going to be for the end of time. This equals 534 equals, if I write Israel in full, Yud, Shin, Reish, Aleph, Lamed. And I don't count the word Israel, only the added letters. As long as there's going to be a Yisrael, we can only stand on the schus, on the shoulders of Yaakov and Yosef. That's what he rushed him. Go now. Don't wait. And that's goish now. Sorry, I can't copy it from here, and I'm finishing on this. Equal 358 equals Mashiach. The schus of Yaakov and Yosef. This whole thing was a tremendous plan from HaKadosh Baruch Hu because the power of the Klippa was so strong. Yosef himself was hidden by the Allah. He was being exposed by his sister, by Dinah, to remove the dinim. He got revealed, and he did a tremendous work for the Bnei Israel, for Yetzias Mitzrayim, and Yaakov completed it. And not only completed it, together they kept it alive till Mashiach comes, till we all arrive, Goishna. Bimheira b'yameinu amen. Baruch Adonai Elohim amen.